Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Wise Paper. My name is Elizabeth. Here we do all sorts of paper crafts, junk journaling, mixed media and art therapy. If you're interested in, then please do consider subscribing. So today I have this prototype on my desk, and we will try to do the same out of the chocolate box that you can see on the right. And this is, well, it wasn't a prototype at first. It was a journal that I made for a tabletop gamer who just needs this sort of a note journal for the notes. And it was supposed to be like a ship's log style for a pirate and yeah, roleplay gaming. So it is faux leather journal that I made using, well, pretty much junk. And today we will do exactly the same journal. Well, not completely the same, but we will sort of follow the steps that I did before. So we need this chocolate box, some acrylic paints. Also, I will use gold wax, tissue paper, mud gel to adhere the paper, and some magnets for the closure. You can choose different closure, but this is what I like to use for this one. This is a background paper for the insides. Next, a ruler, of course. Maybe you need a paper trimmer. Maybe you can use just your scissors. And that's basically it, what we need. I will sort of follow the measurements. They will not be exact, but I will do the same height, but not the same width. So what first we need to do is to cut off these flaps of the chocolate box. We don't need them. You can actually leave this journal tall and narrow. It will be sort of a like travel journal, but I decided to make it smaller, so it will be still like a small notebook, if you like. So yeah, I've adjusted the height and I will leave the width the same, so I will not cut it more. So then we need to adhere this tissue paper on surface to kind of recreate this faux leather look to it, and I will show you how to do it exactly. I will speed up the process, and also I will cut some parts just because I will do the same thing over and over. But first we need to apply the mud gel on the surface of the box. You can use PVA glue thinned down with water as well. You can even use your glue stick if you like, but it will not hold that well. Mud gel is better. So what you need to do is crinkle the paper and adhere it with the same like sort of crinkle effect, which means that you apply the paper to the box and then squish it with your hands a little bit, creating this small wrinkles on the surface. So you're not looking for this flat surface of the paper that we usually aim for when we glue it in pieces down. You can do it as a whole piece, or you can do it like partially, like I do here, and later on I will glue the next one like as a whole piece. So the more you wrinkle, the more wrinkly your texture will be. So here I will adhere a part which is not so wrinkled, and it will be noticeable later on because yeah, we kind of left it more subtle. See, I am applying this piece that I've cut off previously. So you need a kind of a layer of mud gel. You shall not leave some space without the glue because it will be noticeable. Paper might tear at this spots, so be sure to cover your box with glue thoroughly. Next, I'm applying the second layer of the same tissue paper to kind of make this effect more prominent, to have more wrinkles. If you're satisfied with the look it has at this stage, it's okay to proceed further. If you want more wrinkles, more leathery effect, then you can have more layers, like 2, even 3 will be okay as well. Like, you do you, it's up to you how many layers you want, but you need to apply the glue once again. So you can also not also crunch it in a ball. You can leave it flat and then crunch it with your fingers, but the effect won't be that strong in this case. So you can use a tissue paper that came with your orders, for example, or maybe you just bought a set of tissue paper, also possible. But here it's like using junk for creating a beautiful piece. As you can see, I'm just using a chocolate box, and I liked it because it has this sort of a flap that can serve as a closure later. So I kind of liked it, and yeah, this idea eventually came into my mind. So we shall do the same for the inner part, but not for the whole surface, just the part of it that will be seen later on. You can also do the whole surface. It will be just, maybe you don't want to cover it with paper. It's also a possible option. So because I have 2 layers, I have to glue them individually, and yeah, then apply a layer of the matte gel on top to glue the second layer on. And we do the same, wrinkle the paper a bit. To kind of avoid unnecessary bulk, I snip off these corners, but you can also glue them, but it just will add a little bit more, like, not bulk, but a little bit more layers on your corners. So we are doing the same for all sides. So I'm zooming in just so you can see better what is going on, how wrinkly the paper is. So it's kind of wrinkly. It will be noticeable later. Sorry for the zooming. It went off and on here and there. So yeah, next I will apply the matte gel on top to seal the layers. It's optional step, but I prefer to do it just to protect the paper, because it's just a tissue paper. It's not strong, it can easily tear. So to prevent this, I apply like a last layer of matte gel to kind of seal the surface, to prepare it for the next step, which is coloring. And I will do it for both sides. And I will dry it quickly. So here is the ready piece, wrinkly, great, but still not looking like a leather. So we need some acrylic paints to create this effect, and I will use brown acrylic as my base layer, and then I will build up the layers with like ochre and a little bit of orange colors to recreate the leather look. But you can use whatever colors you like, it's optional, it's up to you. Maybe you want like patina sort of look to it with some blue and rusty colors. But I'm kind of trying to keep the look of a leather. So be sure to cover it well, because it's like a textured piece. I apply a little bit of water here and there to help spread the color. But mostly it's just acrylics. Maybe you have acrylics that are more fluid, so it will be easier to apply. Here I need a second layer in some places to kind of cover it like fully, because maybe one layer won't be enough. And I'm doing the same for the inside. I will not cover all piece because we will glue the papers on top, so it's not necessary to cover the whole inside, just where the tissue paper is. So the procedure is the same. We're covering with base color, then drying it, maybe cover it once again, and then we will proceed to the next colors. But first, base layer. So I will also apply it on the corners. Be sure to color them as well, because it will be noticeable if they will be white, of course. So be sure to color them too. and if there are any spots left, it's a good time to cover them. Now I will proceed with this ochre color, and I will not apply it like in a big amount. I will just use my finger and my brush to kind of go over the textured parts. So only the textured parts will be covered with this color and will not be covered like completely. It will be a little bit, just a little bit of paint, as you can see. So you can do it with finger, you can do it with paint. I'm doing like both. You just need to blend it sort of nicely. You can add a little bit more water to kind of spread the color better. If you have a brush that is kind of flat and dense, it will be also a great one for this technique, but maybe you shall consider dry brushing, which means without water. Here I'm doing it with water, but there are several techniques. So as you can see, I'm applying it on the wrinkles directly to kind of only for the raised parts. And on camera it looks like extreme, but in real life it's not that a spot of ochre, it's more of a blended, but camera catches it extremely, I would say. So yeah, as you can see, if you put too much of the paint, you can easily remove it with water and a paper towel. So here I've added too much water and just removing it with my napkin. With the brush there is like a more subtle look to it. It kind of creates this, I would say, more leather look to it, a little bit of vintagey look that it was used, and it's not even color in all places. So here I'm trying to be closer to the camera so you can see better that I'm like doing it only on the wrinkles. You can also apply it on the like not textured parts as well, but I think it looks better with the wrinkles because it will emphasize this used look to it. So now I've dried it and we'll proceed with the orange color. I don't have orange acrylics, so I will mix two, yellow and the red one. If you have orange acrylics, so it will be better for you. You don't need to mix anything, and you shall be careful with this one in terms of not to apply too much of paint, because it will be kind of bright color, so it will be strange if leather has a lot of orange in it, right? So we will only focus on top of the wrinkles, even more textured parts, just less amount of paint. And be sure not to cover your brush like in too much of paint. So see, I'm just focusing only on the raised parts, not trying to spread the color too much. So it also emphasizes the texture and gives it the finished look. So it's kind of an easy technique, and it is always pleasant to use some stuff that is not supposed to be used, but we give it like a second life. Reuse the, well, basically trash, but I don't like to call it trash because it's like treasures. See how beautiful it looks? Now I will look the same on the inner part. So I'm just cutting the parts that are where I do the same for a long time, because it will be an hour-long video if I want to do that. So here it is optional, but I like to apply a little bit of gold wax on the raised parts as well, just to kind of give it a little bit more shine, a little bit more definition. And I also like the effect. It's not maybe a leather thing, but you can skip this step, of course, but I just like the look of it. So here it is dry and ready to go, and now we need to prepare the papers for the inside. So I'm measuring how long and how wide they shall be to cut it using my paper trimmer. You can also use just a ruler and scissors, but I'm bad at cutting, so I will not. So here I show you my measurements. They don't need to be like that. They can be whatever measurements you want. So here I'm readjusting the spine, checking if it is okay, if it bends. And now will be a long process of me cutting, because I was kind of thinking which parts of this paper I want, and yeah. If you're interested in how I did this background paper, because it wasn't bought like that, I made it myself, then you can check out the video that I will link for you here, somewhere at the top, and also in the description box. It wasn't dedicated to exactly making a background papers, but the procedure is the same as in this video of me making a radioactive waste passport. So yeah, you can do exactly the same steps with the supplies you have. And it will help to create these beautiful background pieces, and I decided to use them as my inside papers, just for the covers. But maybe we can use them for the signatures as well. Signatures will be part 2 of this project, so stay tuned if you want to see how this journal will look like in the future, in the end. So this is only a cover, so yeah, subscribe for more. So I will glue them on using the same mud gel. I will skip this step for just to be a little bit more quick. And now we will proceed to the closure. So if you remember, I've used magnet closure because I decided it is easy, and because, well, the prototype was made for the tabletop player who doesn't want to be bothered with, you know, strips and all kind of fancy stuff. It was needed to be open and closed, so it shall be simple. So I'm using a glue to adhere the magnet, and I will put the next one on top and put the glue on this, so I don't need to kind of measure where it should go. It will be there already. So yeah, this is a finished piece. You can see that it is wider than my prototype, a little bit different, but still the same technique. And we will do the papers in my next video. Well, maybe a little bit later, not the next one. So yeah, please comment if you liked it, put a thumbs up, and I see you later. Bye bye.